there is this Kangmin video, and we played it on SideScrollers, but I will play it here just so people know exactly what we're talking about. Put it on 1.5 times speed. We'll do some speeding here. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kangmin Lee, and I was just fired from my job for my conservative beliefs. This wasn't about my job performance or my relationships with colleagues. It happened because of the things I've said online and the political and religious views I've shared. Right before I was about to head out to work, I got a call from an executive at my workplace, and he opened with this.
The reason for this call is that we decided to terminate your contract effective immediately.
Oh.
Beginning today and going forward, you're going to cease all contact with employees, and you are not welcome on our campus.
So they told me I was being removed immediately and not to return. The main reason? Because my posts were dehumanizing and derogatory.
It's clear to us that your commentary invokes language that's derogatory and dehumanizing.
The specific example they kept bringing up is when I called women who celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk hags and psychopaths. And apparently, that's unacceptable. What else are they? Calling them psychopaths is mild compared to the depraved gloating over the death of an innocent man. But they didn't care about the context. So what specifically?
Well, how about yesterday when you implied that women shouldn't have the right to vote and that women are hags, miserable people, birthers, and psychopaths?
I didn't call women that.
Yes, you did. It's very clear. We have evidence of it.
Yeah, you can pull it up. I said that.
And I said on SideScrollers, it's the exact same thing as like my AGP tweet, where it's consistently taken out of context, and they say that I said something that I did not, and that's used as like evidence against me everywhere, and it's wild, and I hate that people do this.
Liberal women who dehumanize people and celebrate that.
You did not say liberal women. You did not say liberal women.
The context is...
There's no context. Your language...
Do you mind if I can...
I'm going to finish. Your language is dehumanizing. You target every kind of identity that's represented. I'm embarrassed that we're just realizing it.
So the context behind that is the thousands upon thousands of videos and tweets and posts of people who were celebrating the assassination of a husband and a father 2 weeks ago. So the context is the sheer number. It was like 80 to 20, 90 to 10. The majority of people celebrating his assassination, someone murdered in cold blood, were women. Now, these are women who are untethered to their family. They don't have good family lives, right? They have abandoned their families, and they don't have children.
So you don't know that. You don't know that.
Okay, sir. So this is, sir.
Suggest that the answer is
am I allowed to finish, or are you going to keep white-splaining to me?
We can be done with the conversation. You are no longer permitted on this campus. You are effectively terminated immediately from your employment.
I asked for another example, and he accused me of saying that fat people shouldn't exist. What?
You clearly believe that fat people shouldn't exist.
What?
Correct?
I have never said that. I've never said that fat people should never exist. This is your emotion speaking. If you're able to at least use your fat as a reason.
We have a file full of odious things you've said.
Odious? Like what else? What else?
Any one of which would be eligible. We would escort them out of the building. My only regret is that we've just discovered this at this point, and that's on this institution.
Okay, so I don't understand what beliefs that I hold, because I don't dehumanize women. I have talked many times on my platform about how women are incredible, that their telos, which means design in Greek, is to birth life, and that's a very important role in civilization. I've said that multiple times. I said they're empathetic, they're compassionate, they're great nurturers.
Oops.
And caregivers. That's what I've said. I've also said that men need to step up. I've never said that men are better than women or women are better than men. I've never said that fat people should never exist. That's absurd. All I've said is that they should take care of their bodies and that they should steward the bodies that God has given them, right? So
I'm not interested in this debate.
And you see, no matter how much I try to reason, this is how liberals think. They don't value diversity of thought or the free marketplace of ideas.
And I think that basically gives us an idea of like what he's going through. I gave all of my opinions like on this video on SideScrollers yesterday, so I didn't want to like completely talk over it and stretch it out and tangent on it again today. But I did want to give people kind of an idea about what we're about to watch with SideScrollers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SideScrollers, Kangmin Lee. How are you, buddy?
One second.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's Netflix, Kangmin.
I was trying to delay as much as I possibly could there.
I was going to say, he's black
didn't
now.
Quite work out. We'll get to Netflix.
There he is. Hey.
Kangmin, how are you, dude?
Man? Doing well, man. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Thanks for coming on with us again after yesterday. Let's just kind of give everybody a quick recap. You posted this just a couple days ago
hat's in the
over
way.
on X. You said I was just fired from my job again for conservative beliefs. This is with a 7+ minute video here. We watched it on our stream, but just give everybody a quick TLDR on this.
Yeah, TLDR is that right before I was about to head out to work, I get a call from an executive, and because I get so many spam calls these days, I don't have it so that my phone rings for an unknown number. So it's an unknown number, get a voicemail, hey, do not come to work, do not come to campus before you take this phone call. So I'm like, I'm probably screwed. This is like PTSD. This happened to me 4 years ago when I used to work for a pharma company, and they did the same thing because I was fired for being against the vaccine mandates. And of course, being against the vax mandates at a pharma company is a no-no. And then so I'm like, oh, damn, this is going to happen again, isn't it? And then so...
Whoa, hold on. Back up. So wait, you worked at a pharma company during COVID?
Yeah.
And you were like, no. Don't, I'm not
That's
taking
wild.
this shit.
That's wild.
I mean, it was just unbelievable because I majored in chemical engineering for those who don't know, and I do have a pharmaceutical background. I did pharmacology research in college, so it was like I'm like used to this stuff, and we just kind of threw out like over 100 years worth of vaccine technology and consensus just to forcibly jab everyone with an experimental vaccine that was developed in 6 months with no longitudinal study. I was like, hey, this is kind of crazy. Let's not force people to do it. Anyways,
Kinda.
They didn't like that. They fired me. And then so I thought, I was like, man, this is going to happen again, isn't it? And sure enough, it happened. And he was accusing me of all crazy things. And of course, I'm a staunch right winger. I'm not ashamed of that. I am a Christian conservative. You know, I also love anime and all those things too. But, you know, it's like, I feel like I'm just a normal person from like 40, 50 years ago. But apparently that's grounds for dismissal and for calling people who are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk hags and psychopaths. They said that I was calling all women that. I'm like, no, I don't view women like that. I've very much been clear on my platform that I respect women. I believe men should protect and honor women. I believe that chivalry is a very good thing. We've lost that in our society. And just because feminism is rampant in our society and so much man-hating is there, doesn't like give men an excuse to be unchivalrous, essentially. And so, anyways, I was trying to explain that to him, and then he just wouldn't listen. He said, no.
I mean, I kind of agree, but also I don't want men to willingly put themselves in dangerous situations where their entire lives can get ruined, because that is the climate of where we're at the moment, where a man that should be hailed as a hero is instead arrested and his entire name dragged through the mud for the entire world to see. And it's like, yeah, it would be great if all men everywhere just decided, fuck it, I'm going to be chivalrous anyways, and I'm going to play the role of the hero. But not everyone wants to fight those court cases and have all that shit about them, lying about them online for years, just following them around. And like, I don't know how you go about fixing something like that, except removing all of the ideologue judges and DAs who deal with letting all these criminals go while prosecuting people who should be held as heroes, right? Like, it'd be great if we lived in a healthy society and we could shame men for not being chivalrous, but we don't live in a healthy society. And so I think a dose of reality needs to be planted into that. His view is idealistic. You're not going to prison for helping a woman who probably voted for the punishment that you will face. It all depends on where you live, you know? Like, if you live in a very high trust area, you could probably safely defend those around you. But if you live in, like, New York City, all you're doing is putting yourself in danger from, like, other people around you, the person you're trying to save, the court system. It's just, you know?
Oh, you're terrible, you're a bigot, you're a dehumanizing, derogatory person. And I'm just trying to explain things to him. He just would not listen. And eventually I'm like, is there any way to reverse this? Any way we can work through this? He said, no. Top down decisions made. And I was like, okay, well, this kind of sucks, because I thought it really does feel like a stab in the back, because you start working for places, and it's not a huge company, but you start working for places, developing these relationships, and it sucks. It really does suck. It's like, instead of having that conversation first, it's like, okay, we're going to fire you because we already created a false image of what we believe you are to be. And yeah, no excuse. It's just awful.
I want to tell you, you released some of the call that you had with this person. By the way, we spoke privately about this. You said it's okay to mention that you worked in education.
Yeah, we'll just say the education sector, which is why yesterday I was explaining that there are students involved, which I don't want to get them kind of entangled with all of that, which is the biggest reason why I don't disclose.
See, which again doesn't make any sense to me. If there are students involved, right? Because he didn't use the word involved previously. So if there are students involved in his firing, if they're involved in the way that the students helped get him fired, they should have repercussions for being psychopathic little ideologues following in lockstep with the administrators. If there are students involved who didn't want him fired, well, how would we know about that? And also, what kind of fallout would they face at this current moment? Because who would even know that those students were involved? Would the administrators, if you call them out for their actions against you, decide to throw the students under the bus who didn't want him fired? If they were to do that, they would make themselves look tantamountably even more evil. So it's not even like an acceptable loss. It's just like I don't understand exactly what he means by this.
Place I worked at. Otherwise, I would.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so the pushback on that we heard, and Kirsche actually wanted to ask this
That's
question in
me.
particular, was previously when there's been firings when it comes to the education sector, right? The places have been called out, schools have been called out, but the pushback hasn't gone to the students. They have not been caught in the crossfire,
Right.
if you will, right? So how would you respond to that in saying that there's precedent here saying that the students won't be caught and it'd be for the greater good to speak out on this so another Kangmin Lee doesn't happen in the future?
Yeah, I totally get that point of view. I err on the side of like extreme caution when it comes to minors and comes to students because of what I've seen on the internet, what people can do on the internet, and people will target others. And
I mean, again, I can agree with that, but by not calling out the company, by not calling out the administration, again, the administrator said his only regret is not knowing how bad of a person he perceives Kangmin to be so he could get rid of him sooner. If there are students that are Christian or more conservative, they too will be discriminated against by this administration. So by not calling them out, actually more harm is going to be coming to those students than him staying quiet. Like, all he's doing is allowing the cycle to perpetuate, in my opinion here.
I just didn't want to risk it. I believe there's a lot of innocent people who could potentially, even if the possibility is small, a lot of the times we don't even think of the possibility of certain things. Like, for example, when I got doxxed earlier this year, like, I didn't even think that would happen. I saw other people get doxxed, but I was like, that can't happen to me. The possibility of happening to me is very low. And then
If you're online in any capacity, I don't care how large of a creator you are always in danger of getting doxxed. Do not think it cannot happen to you. It is not, again, if you are online in any capacity, it is not a matter of if you get doxxed, it is a matter of when you get doxxed. It will happen. You cannot avoid it.
happened. And I'm like, whoa. So I think after that moment too, I was like, start to get really cautious about the kind of information that I put out and the kind of people I get caught in the crossfires of my online posting and my content creation. And so I do think that there is merit to what Kirsche said yesterday, and I totally understand the people who feel that way. I just err on the side of extreme caution when it comes to minors and students.
Are you more concerned, obviously, I get what you're saying, right? Are you more concerned about the left freaking out about this or the right taking action against potential, people caught in the crossfire? Or is it just anybody?
I think anybody, but I do see an increasing number of right-wing or right-wing affiliated people, anons on the internet, who are doxing people.
I would like to know where he gets this statistic from, because when people were getting doxxed for celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk, something that he supported, by the way, these were people who were being doxxed for supporting and celebrating a murder. I didn't see anyone doxing random people or going after random people. It was very targeted towards the people who were celebrating the murder. I don't exactly know why he's trying to both sides this issue, especially, again, when he supported the comeuppance of those getting doxxed for celebrating the murder. I don't really understand this logic.
And I just don't want to risk that with minors. I just don't want I don't want them to get involved. Yeah.
So I wanted to go back to your call, because there was one point in particular that we all kind of giggled at yesterday here. I want to play this just for a second as, let's just kind of see what happened. Because I feel like this is, did you edit this at all? This is definitely
I did.
edited, right?
I definitely edited it just to shorten it. I didn't take out parts of the conversation to take it out of context and make him look worse than he was. I actually saved this image. He said some other insane things, and he was a lot more emotional than was portrayed here. It was a 30-minute phone call.
Okay.
But yeah.
I wanted to play this.
Personally, I would also release the raw, just because as soon as anyone with malicious intent sees this and hears him saying it was edited, they're going to be like, well, it was probably edited to make him look better and to make the administration look worse, and there's something that he's hiding because he edited it. That's exactly what they do, and that's exactly why when I release things, I release the complete raw. I don't care how long it is. If you want the truth, you're going to listen to it, is how I feel. If you're not going to bother listening to it, you weren't interested in the truth in the first place.
I actually have a question about that. So, like, when did you start recording? When you knew he was basically going to fire you, and did you tell him that it was being recorded?
Well, it was just a scary... I have PTSD, and I wish I recorded the first phone call when I got fired 4 years ago. So I just was like, thing. Just in case there's a potential lawsuit, and just in case there could be something, there's any like legal action to be taken, I just wanted like records. Yeah.
Okay, before we get to the actual call, do you think that there could potentially be legal recourse for you being fired for this?
Remember
or is this
the
more
EEOC?
Of a, do you think that they just, you know, like, do you think there's quote unquote just cause, or you feel like they have just cause?
I do think in the state that I live in, it is an at-will termination state, and so they can terminate me for any reason. And in my employment contract, they did say that they have the right to terminate me for any reason they deem necessary. And so I could potentially go along the religious discrimination route, but that would kind of be hard to prove. So I am still talking to some lawyers, but not sure exactly. Yeah.
It is absolutely wild that you've gotten fired for common sense multiple times now.
It is. It's the times we live in, you know, it's crazy.
Let's get to this call here, because there's a point here which we all laughed at, which I wanted to play.
Now, these are women who are untethered to their family. They don't have good family lives, right? They have abandoned their families, and they don't have children. So
you don't know that. You don't know that.
Okay, sir. So this is, sir.
Suggest that the answer is to.
Am I allowed to finish, or are you going to keep white-splaining to me?
Which his response here is like everything.
Which was fucking hilarious when I first heard that, and the guy's response just being that low, like you just fucked up, buddy. How dare you use my magic spells against me? You know, like literal villain dialogue in like a Star Wars movie, man.
Were you walk us through that interaction right there, because we laughed at that because it's almost like using their sword on themselves.
Yeah, exactly. That was towards the middle part of the conversation, but he would not allow me to fully explain myself for more than 20-30 seconds at a time.
He was good at interrupting.
I allowed him to speak for over a minute at a time, just explain where he's coming from, where his stance is, where the company's stance is, all that stuff. I'm like, okay, so then allow me to explain that post that you're specifically referring to, and let me explain what I believe and how you are taking that out of context. And he's like, nope, not going to listen. You don't know that. And he was accusing me of not doing the research, not knowing anything, attacking people, all kinds of marginalized groups. And I'm like, dude, I'm a Korean American. We make up 0.6% of the population. I grew up being called Chinese and Japanese.
Yeah, but you're white adjacent, so like you don't matter. You don't matter at all. How dare you speak the old magic to me, witch? I was there when it was created energy in that laugh. What the fuck? Yeah, again, it's a little fucking crazy.
All the time. And there's times where I felt like I didn't belong, and there's times where I'm like, man, like I feel left out. And I'm just like, dude, like, isn't that your whole mantra of being inclusive to people like me? But then just because I don't toe the line, and because I'm not in line with exactly what you want me to say and believe, that you're going to attack me like this and unjustly fire me. And he just wouldn't let me talk. And I think for the most part, I was as cordial as possible, but I was getting frustrated. Like, just let me talk. Wasn't the whole premise of let minorities speak, hear black voices, right? Hear Asian voices, hear their voices, their marginalized voices. He wouldn't let me.
Again, we know that that's all bullshit. And if you're going to fight against this, because this is Marxist rhetoric, these are communists you are dealing with, if you're going to fight against it, you can't just keep saying, well, yeah, you're hypocritical because you claim to be for marginalized voices, and I'm a marginalized voice and you're not letting me speak. They claim that, but we know they're not actually about that. They don't care. It is a means to an end that they want to use to get where they want to be culturally. So like calling them out on that isn't going to make any sort of effectual change. You have to actually fight back in order to get any leeway anywhere. Case in point right here, he's still very naive about what leftists are. Unfortunately so.
We speak. And so all of that talk it's all nonsense. It really is nonsense. They don't actually believe that. They just use it to virtue signal and use it to win brownie points so that they look so virtuous and so...
Yes, but if you know that, why are you not calling them out? Any fallout that happens is quite literally justified based on what they did. I don't think there's going to be any innocent collateral damage in this. Sure, if federal funding gets pulled, you can see that as collateral damage to the students. But why should we allow federal funds to keep going to these ideologues that will damage the students further?
Amazing, and it's all sanctimony at the end of the day.
Yeah, the tolerant left being so tolerant yet again.
What would you say to people who say you have been introduced to consequence culture for your actions?
I mean, it's fine. There's a lot of liberals who are pulling up my tweet where I was like happy that people who celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk were fired. And I'm like, well, there's no equivalence. I mean,
it was the same thing when people tried bringing up the tweet of me celebrating Atoya Yamaguchi. Him killing a politician that desired to bring Maoist communism to Japan is vastly different from some random guy who just wanted to talk on college campuses that had no influence on policy whatsoever. I was like, there's a complete difference in celebration there. If I was alive at the time when, I guess some sort of authoritarian government existed, like Hitler or Mussolini, yeah, it'd probably be great. Probably be great if they died as well, right? I don't understand the equivalency. Honestly, having a hard time feeling bad for the guy because he won't put those people on blast. It's that's what needs to happen. If you get caught up in one of their life ruination campaigns, you need to have the spine to defend yourself. You need to have the spine to put that information out there in order to show people, hey, this is who's in control of your institutions and this needs to change.
I hold normal conservative views from 40, 50 years ago. And yeah, you might think it's extreme because the Overton window shifted so far to the left. But my focus is first God, then it's family, then it's the freedoms and goodness, virtue, beauty, protecting all those things. And a lot of the times you have to expose the evil and the ugliness in our society. And in order to do that, that's so evil. I don't think so. I think it's very normal. And I think that's a normal opinion to have. In the same way, I don't think anyone should be fired for being pro LGBTQ. But it's gone to a point where I don't think anyone, regardless, left or right, should.
There's a difference between being pro LGBTQ whatever and then forcefully giving them advanced privileges over other people because of their immutable characteristics when it comes to hiring or education. And that's where it becomes unacceptable. Discrimination, even if it's positive, is still a type of discrimination. Because to positively discriminate for one group means you're negatively discriminating against a different group. That was hypocritical of him to say, given the situation, expose the evil. It just feels and I guess this is probably where some of my frustration came from the other day when I was on SideScrollers. It's we keep seeing this shit happening. And if we want it to stop, we need to defend ourselves. We need to say, hey, what's happening isn't okay. These are the people who did it. Vent your frustrations at these specific people. I don't see there being any negative repercussions for the students there.
Have a job at a company if they celebrate the death of innocent people. For those who they disagree with politically, you celebrate their murder, you dance on their grave, and you call for more of those assassinations. I don't think you should be employed anywhere. I think you should be ostracized from society because you have broken the social contract. We can't have a conversation anymore. And so it's they think it's hypocrisy. I'm you know what? Whatever.
They're going to say it's hypocrisy because, again, they know you hold the principle that cancel culture is bad. They know that cancel culture is their weapon that they can wield against you with impunity because you desire to live by your principles. You're going to have to harden your heart and say, you know what? My principles are not going to be given to you if you don't respect them. Why should I give you the benefit of my ideals if only to have them used against me? You don't believe in my ideals, and everything you do is going to ensure that I become oppressed under your boot. So why would I continue funding my own demise? That doesn't make any sense. So they're going to try and call you hypocritical and guilt you into feeling bad because they know that that is the tactic that has worked for years to make sure that conservatives and people to the right of the center do not defend themselves.
You call it consequence culture. I think I was unjustly fired. You know, you guys can all look through my tweets and you can look at all my posts and see if I am truly this crazy person that they made me out to be. But I think I'm a pretty normal person. I think I might have been even considered liberal like 100 years ago.
I mean, like, yeah, basically. But I get called Hitler today for having the same opinions as like a Democrat in the 90s. Like, it's crazy, man.
Well, I think that's your cardinal sin of knowing what a man is and what a woman is. It's pretty rough, man. So that's crazy. Well, look, you lost your job, and there was a great outpouring of support. I think your Give Sin Go it like crossed like almost $10,000, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy. Congratulations on that. But actually, like right after you were on for a few minutes, it was announced that you were rehired. You have been rehired, uncanceled, as Benny Johnson has hired you. And you, this was announced yesterday. He said, "I'm proud to announce that Kangmin Lee has just accepted a position at our growing media company. Kangmin will join Team Benny immediately, making this the single shortest cancellation in modern history. About 24 hours, Kangmin will work in our editorial and creative teams at Benny Media. He's a skilled editor and sharp digital talent. We are very proud to have him join the team." So
Congrats.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So walk me through this. When did Benny reach out? How quickly did this happen? And when do you start working for him?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I posted it, and I knew it would get some traction, but I didn't think it would go viral to the point where Elon Musk is replying to it.
That was crazy that Elon saw it.
So many people were responding to it, sending encouragements and telling them like telling me that this wasn't right, and just being really awesome and supportive and caring. And Benny, he replied to me, he said, "I'd like to hire you." And I said, "Oh, can I DM you?" He's like, "Sure." And then he DM'd me, and then we talked it out for a bit, and then we exchanged a phone call, and it aligned. He's like, "You seem really great. Like, send me your stuff." I sent him some of my video editing, and he's like, "Dude, you'd be a perfect fit for our team." And it works exactly in line with what I already had planned after this firing, is that I'm going to be working part-time for him with his team to support whatever the work he's doing over at Benny Media. And then I can, for the rest of the week and all the time that I have, I can work on my own content, build on my own brand and my own channel. And it's a really good position. And I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful for all of you guys who have supported and donated. I was blown away. I've never done a Give Send Go before. And there's a part of me, I was just insecure a bit. I thought maybe like a few thousand at most, but it's reached almost 12,000 at this point, and I am blown away.
Which is a nice little safety net to have after being fired.
A lot the past 2 years, and just to see this outpouring support really does mean a lot. It really means the world to me. And yeah, just gonna be going full, pedal to the metal and going all in on making content, talking about things that matter to me. Like all the diversity and the DEI and the disgusting thing that's infecting not only Hollywood.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's a good thing to talk about stuff, right? It's a good thing to talk about stuff and inform people. But if you're yourself not going to take any kind of action, I feel like talking about that stuff rings very, very hollow. And after Gamergate, where people had incentive to not do anything and just continuously being outraged, I think a lot of people are more incredulous when it comes to watching content like that and like what I do. And it's very normal for people to be inherently suspicious of grifting in general, because they're just like, well, if you're just going to talk about it and not do anything, then why are you even complaining, right? And it's that's why I encourage people to get involved locally. That's why I have a plan to get involved locally when I move back to my home area. I've already been talking to some politicians in the area. It's been great conversation. There's things I want to do to help enrich my local area when I move back there. There's things I want to do, and I want to encourage other people to do that shit as well. But being all talk about how you're against this stuff and how it's bad and how it needs to be defeated, and then going, well, I have a chance to defeat some of it, but I'm not going to because I'm worried about the students. It just comes off a little disingenuous to me. it comes off as like, I want to participate in this fight, but not if I have to actually do something and put something on the line in order to defend it. And it's kind of like me with the Vice situation as well. Like, I could have just sat there and taken it, but I wanted to do something. Not just to clear my name, not just because what was done to me was wrong and egregious, but if I make a stand, if I speak out, if I show, yes, you have a way to fight back against this shit, it will encourage more people to do so. It'll make the strikes after me less potent. It's another thorn in their side, you know? Still don't trust Trump or Elon, to be honest. I mean, don't fully trust any politician, man. I can't understand not wanting to do something when there's a golden opportunity. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
But also anime and Korean culture, Korean dramas, and it's all getting infected with all this. Talking about culture, talking about politics, all these things that matter to me because I know it matters to all of us as well. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm just really grateful for this opportunity. It's grateful for everyone, grateful to God. And yeah.
Well, maybe you can make a regular appearance over here on SideScrollers now. Now that you're not tied down by the man, you can do some stuff with us as well. We'll find a way. You also you have your YouTube channel as well, which is great. So people can go subscribe to that, Kangmin Lee TV, which we'll make sure to put a link to that for everybody down below, and go subscribe, and we'll continue to watch you grow. And if you guys want to contribute to the Give, Send, Go, the newly employed Kangmin Lee has down there, so you guys can help him stay on his feet over here, which is just wonderful. But congratulations, man. We always talk about how, like, the space that we work in, these things happen where people are canceled. Going back to the start of the show, we had Carol Lynn get canceled, and then she ends up better than ever working for Ripaverse. There's so many people who have had cancellations happen, and it's the best thing that ever happened to them. So I'm sure that's what's going to happen to you as well.
Yeah, and as a Christian, I just hold on to the promise in Romans 8:28 that God works all things together for the good of those who love Him, who are called according to His purpose. Sorry, I got like 2 hours of sleep last night, so I'm like all over the place. But yeah, so thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. And yeah,
You think the dude that is world rocked and he's still trying to recover his footing, hence why he's not full on getting back at the woke-tards? I mean, you're preaching to the choir. Like, again, look at what happened to me for months this year. People lying about me, trying to smear my name. Like, when you search for me on Google, like, the first thing that comes up is that Reddit thread full of lies that I apparently have to deal with now. I thought I could just ignore it, but apparently I have to do more than just Vice. I don't really take that as an excuse, right? Because as a woman, I feel like men are supposed to be more warrioristic than I am. And if I was able to fight back and defend myself, a man has zero excuse for cowering in the way of a fight, right? Zero excuse. If I could do it, a man should be able to. The second time this has happened, it's not in his nature to hit back, for better or for worse. It's unfortunate. As you said, it took Asmongold for me to shit on Quine Bobs. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, I was, like, full speed ahead on, like, taking down Vice, but I, like, still wasn't sure about outing people like Crime Boss. And then when I heard Asmongold, I was like, yeah, absolutely. He's right. He's right. I shouldn't be worried about that.
I do think that these cancellations are blessings in disguise, because then you find your squad. You find your people. And although we don't have to agree on everything, like, we do agree on one fundamental thing, is that, we can find the common humanity in each other. And I think that is really important.
I want to get to, we do have a couple super chats that actually, for you real quick, if you don't mind, Kangmin.
Yeah.
So real quick, Dak Forever says, getting fired like this shows you who they are. They don't deserve your hard work and
I want to see if any of the
dedication.
super chats
Thanks,
have questions.
Thank you.
Tues News says, being this job was an education, was this employer government funded in any way? Because that...
Marcus Loshy, thank you. The Reddit post is the first that pops up when you just type in Kirsche. Yeah, and I think it's kind of ridiculous that the mods locked the post and showed how many reports they had for misinformation and harassment, and they chose to still keep it up. I don't know if, like, me contacting them will have any effect. I really don't want to have to deal with things like I did with Vice again, but I will if I'm not given any other choice.
That makes this a worse offense and should be made public.
Yeah, I'm actually looking into that because I was talking to some lawyers and they said like look into that, and I was like, okay, so I don't know yet just because I have been busy. I'm in Nashville right now, that's why I'm not in my usual PC
Did you
setup.
say Nashville? Like New Hampshire?
I'm at a conference, but I will be looking into it. Yeah.
Awesome. We have this from Cold Acid says, for the leftist, inclusion is only for fellow travelers and useful idiots. Diversity of thought is verboten in those circles. Mahong. Thank you, Cold Acid. Kangmin, I don't know if you
I heard
if you know
Nashua,
what,
not
Mahong
Nashville.
means,
Thank you, chat.
But
Mahong?
you ever heard of Mahong before?
I haven't, no.
Blabs,
You wouldn't.
Can you educate him really quick?
I said mahjong backwards or like incorrectly, and so it's mahong now.
Oh, okay. There we go. Joey says these crazies are getting defeated at every turn, and I'm all for it. Thank you, Joey.
Yep.
And we have this from Montesquieu. Says there's currently a leftist invasion underway. And interesting, Montesquieu.
Point is that the right understands reality. They understand material reality. They understand natural law and how people operate and think. And then the left, they don't. And they have this like crazy utopian, unrealistic view of how people should live.
A crazy utopian, unrealistic view of how people should live, like how you shouldn't out people who damage those in gainful employment because of their political beliefs or their religious beliefs, and you not calling them out on it because you're worried about some fallout that doesn't have any precedent for even being worried about. I don't know, man. Like, I really feel like this should be an easy way to fight back against a massive regime.
And how people think and act, and then they try to destroy everyone's lives as a result of it, you know?
They're all insecure little bitches.
And mentally ill.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And Marmalin says, did you catch that he said this was shocking and recently brought up? Then goes on to say, we have a large file of all your offenses.
Again, I don't think this is weird. The same thing happened with Offkai. All they have to do is like search for keywords on your Twitter and be like, here, we have a binder of shit. Right, like it doesn't take long to amass a large file if you're literally digging purposefully for stuff that you want to get offended by.
Did you pick up on that? Like,
yeah, I'm like, he was mad. I didn't include this, but as part of the phone call, he said that you didn't disclose that you had a social media presence, and I'm like, you never asked. But then once they found it, they like kept a whole file full, and I'm like, okay, then the moment you saw something that was potentially concerning, why didn't you just talk to me? This is why HR departments are so stupid and useless. They don't actually...
HR departments aren't there for you, they're for the company. That's always been the case. HR is not your friend. Never treat them like it.
Care. They don't actually care about the whole, like, you know, oh, we value diversity of thought and we want to be inclusive of everyone, no matter your religion, your belief. Like, they don't actually believe that, because the moment you don't fall in line with what they believe in, they're like, screw you. And they will fire you and try to destroy your life.
Yeah, because they're there to disarm you, so you feel like you can come to them with your problems. But when you come to them with your problems, if the problem is a problem for the company, you become the problem.
And ruin your reputation and your image and everything in the industry, whatever industry they're a part of.
Well, we are very excited that you landed on your feet so quickly. And
it is very good that he
your new
did
job
that,
with Benny. We haven't actually
Big
met
congrats
Benny before,
on the Benny
but it'd
job.
be great to maybe now that you're in, maybe you can tell him that we're not so bad over here at SideScrollers.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's great, and he hangs out with all the guys over at G&G and Friday Night Tights, and he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Is this perhaps an NDA or a legal thing? I mean, if he's building a legal suit, it makes sense that he's being vague, but he's only said that like he's maybe thinking about it, which could again be obfuscation. Right, you always want to be as vague as possible if you are building a legal case, because you don't want anybody to like know exactly what you'll be doing with that legal case. Members of Congress still get paid during a government shutdown. How can you send the government into a furlough and then still collect pay while the other feds have furloughed pay? Like that doesn't make sense. Millions of federal workers won't get paid during a government shutdown, but the people who could prevent or end a shutdown, members of Congress, will still receive a paycheck. That's because their pay is protected under Article 1, Section 6 of the Constitution, which states the senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their service to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. The Constitution says members will be paid. Rep. Joe Morrell of New York, the top Democrat on the House Administration Committee, explained to reporters Tuesday. Some lawmakers don't like that practice or the optics of it. Senator Andy Kim, Democrat New Jersey, is one of a handful of lawmakers asking that their paycheck be withheld during the shutdown. Once again, withheld during the shutdown. It's all performative. It's wrong that the president and members of Congress get paid during a government shutdown when our military and public servants don't, Kim said in a statement on Tuesday. I'll be refusing my own pay if we end up in a shutdown. Government leaders shouldn't be playing with other people's chips. Presidents also get paid during a funding lapse. President Donald Trump donated his government salary during his first term and said he's doing the same this time as well. So I don't know why you even mention it if presidents get paid if he's literally not even actually taking the paycheck the entire time. In a letter to the head of the Senate Disbursing Office, Kim formally requested that his paycheck be withheld until the government reopens. Across the Capitol, Representative Kat Cammack, R. Florida, made a similar request in a letter Tuesday to the House Chief Administrator that she shared on X. The Democrats want to shut the government down because we won't give them free health care for illegals. On top of that, they won't even pass a bill that protects our military or Border Patrol agents' pay in the event of a shutdown. So let's see if they're willing to give up their pay as well. I'll start. Democratic leaders have disputed that they want to give undocumented immigrants free health care, calling that a lie. In their funding proposal, Democrats are pushing to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies that expire at the end of the calendar year and roll back cuts and changes to Medicaid enacted in Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. If our service members and federal workers won't get paid because of Trump and far-right extremists, members of Congress shouldn't either, Representative Josh Gottheimer, Democrat New Jersey, posted on X on Tuesday. I'll keep fighting to lower healthcare costs and work across the aisle to keep the government open. Some lawmakers said they can't afford missing a pay period. I just don't believe that. I'm not wealthy and I have 3 kids. I would basically be missing, mortgage payments, rent payments, child support, Senator Ruben Gallego, Democrat Arizona, told NBC News. So it's not feasible. Not gonna happen. Most members of Congress receive a salary of $174,000. Lawmakers in the top leadership posts receive more. While the federal workers will be furloughed and sent home during a shutdown, active duty service members will still need to show up for work without getting paid, which is kind of fucked up. Why aren't we furloughing the actual Congress people and still giving active duty service members their paycheck? The same goes for so-called accepted or essential civilian workers. That includes people like air traffic controllers and Transportation Security Administration agents who help ensure public safety and national security. In previous shutdowns, employees at intelligence agencies typically have been treated as essential workers and were required to continue to report to work. But according to internal policy guidance for the Defense Department obtained by NBC News, employees working on intelligence that is not directly related to current or planned military operations, such as political and economic intelligence, will not be required to report to work and are not in the accepted category of federal workers. Under the Pentagon Contingency Plan, employees working on intelligence activities deemed essential for national security will continue to report to work. Because of a law Congress passed in 2019, federal employees, including legislative branch employees, are guaranteed to receive back pay following a shutdown, regardless of if they were in furlough status. At the Department of Homeland Security, most Customs and Border Protection and Immigration and Customs Enforcement employees will not be paid during the shutdown, but they will still be required to work, DHS spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin said. Roughly 150,000 employees from CBP, ICE, and the U.S. Secret Service will be affected by the shutdown, as well as about 47,000 U.S. Coast Guard employees. Why is this allowed? Wouldn't this be the best time for an enemy of the U.S. to attack? I mean, I don't think it really matters. So the military people are still on shift, they're just not getting paid. And I think they should be getting paid, but it's not really going to affect that. Sean Diddy Combs was sentenced to more than 4 years in prison Friday, solidifying the hip-hop icon's fall from grace after his depraved secrets were exposed in a blockbuster, stomach-churning sex crimes trial. I feel like putting a rapper in prison for 4 years is basically just like, we're gonna give you a vacation meant to stimulate your brain so that you can make better rap music afterwards. Like, I don't think this is really that much of a sentencing at all. How did he manage to only get a little over 4 years, man? That's encouraging it. You abused them physically, emotionally, and psychologically. Judge Arun Subramanian. That's why he didn't get a good sentencing. He was in a Star Wars court. told Combs before heading down the sentence of 50 months at the end of a marathon, nearly 6-hour-long hearing. How do you start by saying you abused them physically, emotionally, and psychologically, and then only give him a little more than 4 years? Like, come the fuck on, man. Why did it happen for so long? Because you had the power and resources to keep it going, and because you didn't get caught, Subramanian said. A meaningful sentence is needed to protect the public from further crimes. Well then, once again, why didn't you give him a meaningful sentence and instead just give him, like, a sabbatical to think of better rap songs? Like, what the fuck? The highly anticipated sentencing unfolded in the Manhattan federal courtroom where jurors found Combs, 55, guilty of prostitution charges after 2 harrowing months of testimony delving into his twisted, violent, and baby oil-drenched private life. Disgusting. Combs' sentence is shorter than the roughly 5 to 6 year term recommended under federal guidelines, as well as the more than 11 years sought by prosecutors. A meaningful sentence, said the judge. Less than the recommended 5 to 6 years under guidelines. That's wild, bro. It's also a far cry from the 14-month time-served sentence his high-powered defense team had argued he deserved. I wonder if they put that in here because it's like, look, he got more than what they were asking for. That's good, right? Combs, clad in a wrinkled oatmeal sweater and donning black reading glasses, stood up and read a lengthy statement, apologizing to victims Cassie Ventura and his influencer ex-girlfriend, quote-unquote, Jane, but otherwise spending most of his 12-minute address focused on himself. He begged the judge for another chance and vowed that he was a changed man. My domestic violence will always be a heavy burden that I will forever have to carry, he said. I'm not this larger-than-life person, I'm just a human being. I've been trying my best, I got lost in excess, and I got lost in my ego. Jurors found Combs not guilty on July 2nd of sex trafficking and racketeering, the top charges that had carried a maximum sentence of life in prison. Boy. After he was convicted of the lesser raps, the judge ordered that he remained locked up in a hellish federal prison until his sentencing, despite attempts by his lawyers to spring him on bail. Why was it hellish and also good? Good, they finally kept someone locked up instead of sending them out on bail for once. The Harlem native had once stood atop the music world, growing his Bad Boy Records label into an empire worth nearly $1 billion. Starred in movies and hosted lavish, celebrity-packed white parties in luxurious locales such as the Hamptons. Why were they called white parties?
Didn't somebody tell you this was an all-white party?
But behind the glitzy facade, Combs harbored a dark side. One that burst into public view when Ventura filed a bombshell November 2023 lawsuit accusing him of viciously beating her throughout their decade-long relationship. Ventura also revealed that Combs nurtured a perverted proclivity for freak-offs, grueling, drug-fueled romps accompanied with copious amounts of baby oil, in which he watched her have sex with male escorts. How did he get such a light sentence? Combs quickly paid Ventura $20 million to settle the case. But her lawsuit opened the floodgates for sickeningly similar accusations against him, and a fateful federal criminal probe. After dramatic raids on Combs' mansions in Miami and Beverly Hills, he was eventually indicted and arrested in September 2024 on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution. And I want to point out, Ventura deciding to put herself in crosshairs here to tell what happened to her and take him to court over it is why we're here. Her deciding to have the courage to do that is why he's facing any kind of repercussion, as stated by the article itself. Even though she was, like, paid for the case, the fact that the case hit the news at all allowed other people to come forward with their stories and build an even bigger case against him. As like, this is why, like, if something bad has happened, you should absolutely always speak out. The trial began in May with a gray-haired grandpa sweater-wearing Combs, who had been a snazzy fashion plate before his downfall, being carted daily from Brooklyn's notorious Metropolitan Detention Center. I mean, it's all part of the optics, right? Hey, these are twins, and they're wearing twinning suits. Combs did not testify during the headline-grabbing trial, which drew scores of observers to the courtroom, including the mogul's mother, children, and supporters, such as fellow disgraced rapper Kanye West. Prosecutors called 34 witnesses as they painted Combs as the kingpin of a criminal crew that plotted a slew of crimes over 2 decades, including setting Kid Cootie's Porsche on fire? What a random thing to add. The rapper, real name Scott Muscudi, took the stand as did a constellation of Combs' former assistants, ex-girlfriends, and escorts hired to perform in the freak-offs. Combs controlled every aspect of the marathon sex sessions, demanding his lovers apply copious amounts of baby oil and plying them with ecstasy so they could stay awake, witnesses testified. Sean Combs booked speaking event for next week despite facing decade in prison? How the fuck are you gonna have a speaking event after you just got sentenced, man? What the fuck? It was arguably Ventura's testimony that proved the most heartrending. Ventura, who took the stand for 4 days while 9 months pregnant, recounted in excruciating detail how Combs beat her for years and pressured her into hundreds of humiliating freak-off performances with male sex workers. The All About the Benjamin singer even threatened to release tapes of the freak-offs if she stopped participating, Ventura testified. I feared for my career, I feared for my family. It's just embarrassing. It's horrible and disgusting. No one should do that to anyone, she testified. Combs mentioned his innocence as his lawyers argued that the women consented to the encounters and contended feds improperly criminalized his swinger lifestyle. Oh boy. Not bringing in the swinger lifestyle to this kind of shit. Come the fuck on. The judge disagreed. You used that abuse to get your way, especially when it came to the freak-offs or hotel nights, he said. The mogul was guilty of domestic abuse, but not the sex crimes he was charged with, his lawyers argued. He was convicted of 2 Mann Act transportation counts, a federal law making it a crime to transport someone across state lines for prostitution. Authorities reveal if Celeste Rivas Hernandez was pregnant when she died. New details have come to light surrounding the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez 3 weeks after the body of the 15-year-old was discovered in the front trunk of a Tesla registered to singer David. Her death certificate has been released, stating that the teen was in fact not pregnant, nor had she been pregnant in the last year, per the document obtained by TMZ. And most people would be like, well, if she wasn't pregnant, why are you saying this? I think it's a good thing that they released this information. Because some people could be like, well, what if he got her pregnant and that's the reason he allegedly, potentially could have killed her, right? We know that she's not pregnant, so that brings that motive completely off the table. The report also said an autopsy was performed on Celeste's body prior to it being released to her family on September 23rd, and that the medical examiner is awaiting toxicology results. The certificate listed the manner of death as deferred while the LA County Medical Examiner and the LAPD try to establish how she died. LAPD Captain Scott Williams told TMZ that investigators are trying to determine if she was a victim of foul play or other causes. I mean, it's well known that women just climb into bags and lock themselves inside Teslas to slowly dismember themselves and die. He has reached out to the LAPD but has not heard back. Authorities had previously told the Los Angeles Times they were working to establish a connection between Rivas Hernandez and David, and that the case was being investigated by robbery homicide detectives with the LAPD. That is a really ugly jacket, and it doesn't even fit him. I am very confused. The romantic homicide singer has yet to comment publicly on the case. However, a spokesperson for David has previously told NBC that he was fully cooperating with authorities. Video of Celeste in shouting match rewrites timeline in David case. New footage has emerged of Celeste Rivas Hernandez that rewrites the timeline of the case as we've come to know it. Video was recorded at the home of Celeste's parents in Lake Elsinore, California, precisely a year before her body was found in the trunk of a car belonging to the rising music star named David. The public has been told that Celeste, 15, went missing in April 2024 and that her family hadn't seen her since. But new video obtained by TMZ was recorded by a Nest camera September 8th, 2024, 4 months after she reportedly ran away. Neighbors who provided the video to the outlet say it shows her arguing with people who ostensibly had pulled a prank on her. Celeste was seen yelling and swearing at individuals she believed to have played a prank on her parents' home. By the dates themselves, the video seems to prove that Celeste visited her family at least once after she ran away for the last time. David, whose real name is David Burke, has not been arrested nor has been named as a suspect. It has been reported he had a romantic relationship with the teenage girl. The medical examiner has deferred a case of death while the toxicology results are awaited, but they have determined that Hernandez was not pregnant when she died. In a statement to News Nation, the LAPD captain overseeing the investigation said it remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. Arrest for statutory. Yeah, I don't know how he's not under arrest for being in a relationship with a minor. Like, even if he's not culpable for the murder somehow, right? I don't get it, man. Video of screaming match with neighbors months after going missing. So TMZ, are you gonna come in clutch for me, baby? So this is Celeste here.
Yeah, go right there. Number 2, not down there.
We have horrendous urban music going on. We have children probably in a place that they shouldn't be if there's arguments going on. It's just like my childhood. I feel right at home.
Number 2 right there.
Let me talk real quick, okay? You gonna let me talk?
I ain't gonna let you talk.
No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk? You tripping. Nah, you tripping. How about you ain't tripping? You gonna let a woman talk? Alright, I'm not gonna let your woman talk.
The toddler driving the miniature bicycle as she's saying these things is very astute.
I see over here. Good.
Your house, you don't even got a house.
Hey, bro.
You talk to.
Ain't nobody black right here, homie. We're Southsiders.
I'm gonna replay that because that was funny. She said the N-word and then some guy with a Hispanic accent was like, "Nobody black here, homie." You ain't gotta be black to be called the N-word, man. What do you mean?
Good.
Your house, you don't even got a house.
Hey, bro.
You talk to.
Ain't nobody black right here, homie. We're Southsiders right here, homie. We're Southsiders here. Get it right, homegirl. Shut up with your black talking. Shut up. You talking like you're black, girl, with your black talking. Yeah. Yeah. Ain't nobody black right here. What are you talking about? I said we're not black over here. Why are you calling us? Keep saying this. We're not black. Go back to your house.
I'm so glad TMZ had this video. Holy shit. Damn, he turned that around with the slickness. He did. What the fuck? Is he sweeping the porch so he can be outside to watch and listen to the situation? Yeah, sometimes you gotta make yourself look busy so you can eavesdrop.
You're gonna do nothing, bro. What you gonna do? You ain't no gangster. You ain't nothing, homie. What you are? What you are but a little girl? What you but a little girl? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
You need to go home. Seriously.
I'm not Mexican. I'm Salvador and you tripping.
Oh my god.
Not because you tripping. Move the out of here.
Damn, she got a mouth on her for a 14-year-old. Holy shit. I'm like having flashbacks to the one that prostituted herself. She was slanging like this, dude. That's crazy. Keep in mind this is a 14. Yeah, that's crazy for a 14-year-old to be speaking like this, dude.
You ain't gonna do shit. You better get over there. Get your over there, little girl.
Flashbacks to the one who what? Oh man, you've been here long enough to remember that one. The lady that lived above my mom for a period of time. She was like a couple of years older than me, so I think she was like 15, 16, somewhere around there, and she was prostituting herself. And when her dad found out, as punishment, he beat her cat to death with a baseball bat in the street out in front of our house. That was a time to be alive.
Bro, you ain't gonna do shit. Go. Go. What are you gonna do, bro?
Go call her dad, babe.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, little girl?
Thank you, TMZ. I appreciate you releasing that video. Celeste Rivas went home to visit family in Lake Elsinore, California, exactly 1 year before her body was found in David's Tesla. That's what this new video of her arguing with her parents' neighbors seemed to show. The video obtained by TMZ was recorded by a Nest camera on September 8th, 2024, months after Celeste had been reported missing. And neighbors say it shows her going off on a family over a prank. All I heard was her calling them the N-word over and over again. I genuinely have no idea what they were arguing about or how we even understood that it was a prank. I genuinely could not grasp that from that conversation. In the clip, a family sits outside their apartment building listening to music when Celeste starts yelling, accusing one of the kids of doing ding-dong ditching her parents' home. I feel like ding-dong ditch, especially in current years, pretty blasé, right? I mean, like, at least they're not trying to kick in the door like the current TikTok challenge, right? Well, the nighttime vid isn't super clear. We're told the neighbors recognized the girl as Celeste because they'd seen her face on missing posters that had gone up in the area back in April 2024. Celeste's high-pitched screams cut through the air as she confronts the family with swear words and perhaps a racial slur peppering her tirade. You can hear a man yell back that he isn't black and therefore she shouldn't call him the N-word. Well, I mean, I feel like he's wrong here, but after this confrontation, we're told the neighbor's boyfriend went to Celeste's house to apologize, and Rivas's dad answered, but he seemed unbothered by the situation. He's like, yeah, you know, it's my house, I pay for it, I don't really care, it's just doorbell, man, fuck, I don't care. One neighbor told us when Celeste was reported missing in April, her family walked around with those posters, and when the neighboring family saw Celeste that night, they just assumed she had been found and everything was fine. Trouble at home? Who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this Sesame Street looking ass guy? The date of the video, September 8th, is notable as that would have been the day after Celeste's 14th birthday, and exactly 1 year before authorities opened the trunk of David's impounded Tesla to discover her remains. As we reported, Rivas's death certificate was released Monday, revealing she was not pregnant, as some people online have speculated. However, the cause of death has been deferred, and LAPD Captain Scott Williams tells us that information is critical to the progress of their investigation.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. We are learning more about Celeste Rivas, the teenager. Her body remains were found in this Tesla of singer David. The investigation is still going on. We don't know the cause of death yet. Even though the death certificate came out yesterday, the medical examiner has deferred the cause and manner of death.
So, well, just to underscore, we don't know if this was a murder, a homicide of any sort, right, or whether it was an OD, natural causes.
Women just do that.
Said, and they said they don't.
They just crawl
yet.
into bags and dismember themselves.
We are learning more about Celeste's home life, learning this from some video that we got, and also speaking to an ex-boyfriend who lives still in the same area.
Oh, the broccoli-haired Sesame Street guy was an ex-boyfriend. Okay, all right.
Where Celeste grew up, but he spoke to one of our producers, his young man named Damien.
That's a weird thing. I don't know if that's in the TMZ studio or if that's in his house, but that's a weird decoration to have. I don't think I'd even want a yum decoration in my kitchen, man. That's weird.
It says that he and Celeste started dating when he was either 13 or 14, but he says that she did talk about some trouble at home, and I don't know how much of this is typical teenager or is there something especially different that was going on there, but this is what Damien...
Totally reliable witness. I mean, always be a little bit skeptical of exes when they come out and talk about stuff, but she's been murdered. I don't know how much of a reason he has to lie about anything at this point, if she's literally no longer alive. And hopefully I'm not going to be proved wrong here, but if he's going to be willing to talk about this, I don't think it would make him endearing if he were doing it to like try and make her look bad. Hopefully it's just describing like her home life situation and how she had a troubled upbringing to sort of be like, there could be more people culpable that aren't being thought of in this process.
Edited some specifics out because we have not been able to confirm them, and we don't want to do this, but he is talking generally. By the way, he's sitting next to his mother.
She said how her mom didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at.
Did she talk at all about her relationship with her parents?
Kind of. She just said they were mean or whatever. She didn't like them.
What is your last memory that you have of Celeste?
We were at PE, and she told me and my friend that she was running away, and she said it was because of her parents, and she was like joking about it, and she was like happy.
I'm a little distracted because the way this guy speaks sounds like the hi dude bro voice that I put on.
Like joking like she always was, and like it didn't seem real because like she was like playing around, joking about it, and the next day she wasn't at school, and like that's the last time I saw her.
Yeah, so
the good old dead miner in a trunk prank, classic. Yeah, that's why I keep saying women just wrap themselves in bags and dismember themselves all the time. You know, it's not suspicious at all. That's totally natural.
She had run away, as you know, and we've talked about several times. She ran away in January of 2024, came back, and police got her in February in Hollywood, and then she ran away in March of 2024. Now, we're told that's the last time the family saw her, although there's some conflict over whether she came back after that.
Well, yeah, so it was interesting, too, his interview. I mean, that matches up with what we're hearing from law enforcement, that that she had some type of troubled home life, and that was the reason for her running away, obviously. And then we got this video yesterday, which was kind of shocking because we thought maybe the last time her mom had seen her, or her parents had seen her, was one of the last times she had ran away.
Right, in spring,
in the
spring of 2024.
So we spoke to a neighbor directly in an apartment right next door to where she lives. They had Nest camera. I believe we're going to show
camera
it.
footage that was. This is from September 7th, 2024, and Celeste is the woman you see there. She was arguing with the neighbors because some kids were doing a
the
ding-dong
context
ditch.
of the video is she lived right next door. Kids in the apartment building had ding-dong ditched her house. So she was going over there to confront the kids. And at the time, they didn't. The neighbors didn't really think anything of it. They're just like,
They had seen the missing posters, but they was like, oh, well, she's here.
After she left, they were talking. They're like, oh, that was the girl from the missing posters because the family.
Again, her homeline doesn't matter. That's not pertinent to the facts of the state that she was found. Incorrect! And I already explained why what you just said in my chat is incorrect about 20 minutes ago. Her home life does matter. Her home life does matter because it shows that there are more people that have a possible connection into maybe how she turned up dismembered in a plastic bag. It points to there being possibly more suspects and other motives other than the guy that she was fucking. Celeste wasn't a woman, she was a child, yes. Some guy with cancer, thank you. Who hasn't had a body in their trunk? I mean, I haven't had a body in my trunk.
Family had gone up and down the block with the missing posters back in April.
So wait a minute. So the idea here is that she came back in
September 2024
to her family.
Yeah.
So Anakin, come over here for a second.
We don't know.
Anakin? They literally have a Star Wars named guy in their office? What the fuck?
She was clearly right next door to her family home on September 8th.
We have a mic. Oh, you have your mic.
We spoke to Celeste's mother before she was even identified because we got a tip. She only speaks Spanish. Anakin speaks Spanish, and you talked to her.
Yeah.
Did what we reported even identified because we got a tip. She only speaks Spanish.
Got a tip from someone who only speaks Spanish.
And you.
That's an ice call.
Yeah.
Did what we reported was the last time the family saw her was March of
April.
2024.
So I never got a specific month from her. All I know is that she said that she hadn't seen her for a couple of years until news of her death.
A couple of
years. It certainly wasn't a couple of years because she was there in April.
If she was right
early
next to her house.
If it was September, it was less than a year.
Well,
I feel like if you're gonna go on camera and talk about a tip you got, maybe have the tip in front of you so you all don't have to argue about what exactly was the information in the tip. I feel like now that none of you can accurately remember it since it's not in front of you, it's kind of a waste of time and we don't know what you're talking about and can only take it with a massive grain of salt.
Certainly, at that point, it's
about a year. Yeah.
What's really striking about this incident, though, is it is exactly 1 year before the body was discovered in David's Tesla, to the day.
Right.
You know, the neighbors told us that they thought that she was just back home, but it seems like she was going back and forth.
It seems that way, and it's different from the initial report, which was
that she was
the final
just
time
gone
she
to
was
Hollywood.
seen was in March, and she went to Hollywood, and that was it.
Right.
Hello, my name is Tori. I'm from Mississippi, and I really hate how there's so much concern for her now that she's gone, and not when she was gone running around with who knows what. Now, the family is just as much to blame because of their negligence. And with so much information coming out, I'm really not sure who to believe. But what I do know is those parents should have taken more concern when their daughter was underage and not home. Where were you?
They did call the police. We know that.
They did call police. We know that family members were looking.
Who is that woman? Why was she in here? I don't understand. I mean, she's not wrong. She's not entirely wrong. Especially because if her parents knew that she had a boyfriend and her boyfriend's name is David, how did her parents not know that David was whole ass above 18, man? Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I feel like if I had a child and they were dating someone over the age of 18, I'd be like, you're just not gonna do that. And I'm going to call the police. What the fuck is TMZ? Why does it have more tangents than Fox?
For her and taking steps to try and find her. But yeah, it was clearly a troubled time at home.
David's manager speaks out amid Celeste Rivas Hernandez death investigation. The manager says something. It's happening. David's manager is finally addressing the controversy. Josh Marshall has spoken out amid the investigation into the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose body was found in a Tesla registered to David, real name David Anthony Burke. And among the rumors he's shutting down is that he received an email from Rivas Hernandez's family in 2024 informing him that she was missing. This has been a tough time for my family as I am a father of 3 children, Marshall, who goes by J Mogul online, wrote in the comments of a TikTok addressing the rumors, which he confirmed to LA Mag were written by him.
David's manager, Josh Marshall, commented on my last video and asked me to pin the comment. TikTok doesn't allow you to pin comments anymore, so I will leave screenshots of it in this particular video. But what he said was everything that I said in the video was completely false. He said he never received an email and he had zero knowledge of anything that was going on. He doesn't live in California. He lives in a completely different state than David with his wife and his 3 children. Josh Marshall also said that he doesn't have much interaction with his clients or David because he works remotely 95% of the time. The only public statement that we've received from David has been the one saying that he's cooperating with authorities, but there hasn't been any new public statements yet from him or anyone on his team. I'll leave the comments here. You guys can, I think you'll probably have to zoom in to read them or screenshot it or whatever, but this is the main comment that
this video is false and the person is misinformed. This is the only time I'll speak on this matter. For now, this has been a tough time for my family as I'm the father of 3 children. I received no emails and I'm no one's roommate. I live full-time at home with my wife and kids. My daughter is 14 and this news is affecting so many lives. I never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything and I don't live in California. Also, I work remotely 95% of the time and my job doesn't require me to have much interaction with any of my clients or David, as there are many others that work with him on a day-to-day capacity, not me. This news is tragic for so many and for her family. I hope the proper authorities get to the bottom of it soon. Let me remind people, a lot of this is speculation and alleged. In the meantime, I am with my family helping them emotionally get through the news of this tragedy. Please report on factual information. Josh Marshall.
Josh Marshall left on my page. He left a few other comments responding to other people, just saying that everything is false and he had nothing to do with anything.
Interesting. And it says, I never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything. I work remotely. We already read that. And I mean, it makes sense for a manager to work remotely like this because they're bound to have tons of other clients. You know, it makes sense for them to be working remotely. In addition to noting a lot of this is speculation and alleged, Marshall concluded with, in the meantime, I'm with my family helping them emotionally get through the news of this tragedy. E! News has reached out to Marshall for comment, but has not yet heard back. Music manager's comments come as more information is coming to light about the state of Rivas Hernandez's body when it was found, after she was reported missing in April 2024. This is just a recap again, so we don't need to read through this. I mean, it's possible. It's possible the manager is telling the truth, but also, why would the manager just write a response to a random TikTok comment instead of having his stuff be out there by like an actual, I guess, reported magazine thing? I mean, I don't trust reporters either, but if I was the manager of someone potentially implicated in a murder plot, if I truly had nothing to do with it, I would want to be like, I have literally nothing. You can get me on record as saying that. How can he not know that his client is implicated in a murder? That's fucking weird. Also, how can that be such a tragedy that is affecting his family? Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little strange. And it seems like if he had a lawyer, he probably wouldn't have posted a random comment on a TikTok about this. Toric Roma, thank you. You might be dumb, but shouldn't managers be extremely involved with those they manage? I mean, again, I'm managed by Mythic Talent, right? My manager lives nowhere near me, but we're in pretty constant contact.